Bulgaria's rise to empire. During the 790s, forces of Frank King Charlemagne, 771–814, attacked the Avar Khaganate, inflicting on it a crushing defeat and winning Charlemagne control over western Pannonia, northern Dalmatia, and Slavonia, which were inhabited mainly by Croats. Those Avars remaining in Pannonia may have been dealt a second blow around 803 by a group of former Bulgar clients led by Krum, about 803–14, who by 807 was undisputed Khan of all the Bulgars. Much historical speculation surrounds Krum's reign. He supposedly expanded the Bulgar state to the Tisza River and a common border with Charlemagne's Frank Holy Roman Empire. He is portrayed as cementing centralized autocratic power and as favoring the Slav tribal leadership over the traditional Bulgar boyar elite. Sadly, primary sources supporting such contentions are lacking. An attack on the Bulgar state by Byzantine Emperor Nikephoros I in 807 gained only Krum's animosity and 7 more years of unrelenting warfare, during which Krum captured large swaths of the empire's land south of the Balkan mountains. In 811 Krum ambushed and destroyed Nikephoros's army in those mountains and the emperor was killed. It is said that, after the battle, Krum had Nikephoros's skull fashioned into a silver-lined ceremonial drinking cup, from which he and his chiefs drank, a traditional steppe nomadic ritual assertion of military dominance over a defeated enemy. Krum quickly capitalized on his victory and overran much of Thrace and Macedonia. Cities and fortresses either were captured or abandoned by their inhabitants, and large numbers of Byzantine troops voluntarily deserted to Bulgar service or were taken prisoner. Byzantium fell into political turmoil. In 812 Krum offered the empire mild peace terms, given his military position, the return of all lands taken during the war in exchange for an annual tribute, an exchange of war prisoners, and free bilateral trade relations. The imperial authorities refused and the Bulgars continued their depredations, plundering the environs of Constantinople and threatening to assault the city. Unable to breach the land walls, however, the Bulgars could not force a peace on the empire. Krum was still menacing the capital at his death in 814, but a military impasse had developed. 2 years later the stalemate was broken. In 816 Emperor Leo V, 813–20, negotiated with Krum's successor Han Omertag, 814–31, essentially agreeing to the terms Krum had originally offered. The ensuing peace lasted for 30 years, during which time the Bulgar state underwent significant expansion. Omertag and his successor, Malamir, 831–36, who may have reigned until 852 under another name, Presyen, benefited greatly from the peace. They took advantage of the Avars' collapse to enlarge their state in the north and west, acquiring Belgrade, eastern Slavonia, and the northern territories of future Serbia. A firm hold on Pannonian territories east of the Tisza River was secured and efforts made to secure control over Transylvania. See Map 3. By the time the Bulgars appeared in the Balkans northwest, 2 fluid Croat states in western Pannonia and northern Dalmatia lay under Frankish authority. The Franks recognized the Croats' native rulers as tributaries and pursued active Roman Catholic missionary efforts among them. In 819 the Pannonian Croats rebelled against Frank rule and were joined by a group of Slav tribes hailing from the Timok River region, who technically were under Bulgar authority. This event led Omertag to campaign in the northwest during the 820s to prevent the Franks from pushing eastward and threatening Bulgar lands. When hostilities ended, Omertag's state bordered on the Franks' Croatian tributaries. In the mountains south of Dalmatian Croatia and west of the Morava River, a small Serb state ruled by one Vlastimir arose by the 9th century. Bulgar westward expansion may have inspired some Serb tribes to unite defensively under Vlastimir's authority. The Byzantines, seeking potential allies against the Bulgars, sent agents and gold to encourage Serb unification. Sometime after 839 the Bulgars invaded Serbian territory, and fighting continued for a number of years, ending only when the Serbs agreed to pay the Bulgars tribute. In the end, the newly unified Serbian state retained its independence and Bulgar westward expansion beyond the Morava was blocked. While enlarging his state northwestward, Omertag faced a growing domestic problem involving Christianity. The Bulgar state contained significant numbers of Christians from the beginning, and the many Byzantine refugees and captives settled during Krum's wars increased the Christian population further. Although the Bulgars originally took a syncretistic approach to non-Bulgar deities to ensure having as many gods on their side as possible, by Omertag's time the Bulgars associated Christianity with the Byzantine Empire. The pagan Bulgar boyars viewed the religion as a threat to their socio-political order, which was based on rites derived from divine pagan totems. Moreover, the Orthodox Christian hierarchy was controlled by the Patriarchate of Constantinople, so subject Christians might be considered Byzantine agents who threatened the state's continued independence. Mass conversions to Christianity raised the specter of future Byzantine clientage. Omertag therefore persecuted Christians as a matter of state policy. In spite of his efforts, however, the religion continued to spread. The 816 peace treaty remained intact until it expired in 846, after which the Bulgars invaded Byzantine Macedonia and pushed west of the Vardar River for the first time. By the early 860s Bulgar Khan Boris I, 852–89, had clear possession of northern and western Thrace, including an outlet on the Aegean Sea, the best part of Macedonia, including Ohrid, and a corridor extending from Macedonia to the Adriatic Sea, near the Byzantine port city of Vlore, Valona. Bulgar territorial gains in the Balkans represented Byzantine losses, and the empire's holdings shrank to the Greek-speaking southern regions, the Adriatic city of Durrës, and nominal control over the Dalmatian coastline. Those lands in the Western Balkans not held by Croats and Serbs were controlled by the Bulgars. See Map 3.